And now we're going to turn to an innovative way of helping the homeless. Christine Quinn, she heads a major organization known as WIN, breaking the cycle of homelessness for women and their children. And Quinn is bringing some unconventional methods to the job. Here's part 2 of Dom's conversation with a former city council speaker.
You don't need me to tell you that you could have done almost anything you want to upon leaving city government as the speaker. But why did you decide to get involved with the homeless?
Well, I knew a lot of what I didn't want to do after leaving government. I didn't want to be a lobbyist. I didn't want to work in a corporate America environment. I wanted to do social change work. And if it was up to me, it would be in an area focusing around women and housing, because that's how I started, was as a tenant organizer. And I wanted to run a group that did this, a group of some size that was based in New York City. You know, every day there's none of those jobs available. So in my time looking for work and kind of getting through the process of having lost, lucky to have a wife who had a terrific job so I didn't have to worry about paying the rent, the position of CEO of WIN, Women in Need, became available. And it was everything I wanted to do. Because in my mind, I wanted to run a group that did advocacy, but did advocacy based on the social service work they were doing. Because with all due respect to think tanks, they're just sitting around thinking about it. We're not sitting around thinking about homelessness. We are hearing from our clients every day and taking their experiences and fighting to change government policy in response. So this, I don't know, is just what I wanted to do, and lucky enough, God found a moment that there was a vacancy and it all came together.
But you're doing something that's very unconventional and very admirable in my eyes. You're giving grants to kids that are old enough to go to college to make it easier for them. These kids are from homeless families and homeless themselves.
So our goal at WIN is to break the cycle of homelessness, to break the cycle for the mom and to break the cycle for the children. And one of the key ways you break the cycle of homelessness and poverty is education. And that's why we have Department of Education liaisons in all our shelters. That's why our child care staff are trained by Bank Street College. They're not babysitters, they're teachers. That's why we have after-school programs, why our camp is based on a STEM curriculum. So we have significant number of high school kids in our shelter. We have 4,700 people a night, 2,500 are children. And as those children are in high school, in the year on average they're with us, we're going to do everything we can to keep them in high school and to have them succeed in high school. And if they've dropped out, we're working on bringing GED programs to the shelters. And just got a $200,000 grant, thank you BlackRock, to do that, and then to get those children into work programs once they have a GED. But here we have young people who are graduating from high school every year in the shelter. And we want to help them get to college. And you do that in part by having our staff work with them on the applications, et cetera. If they don't have money for the fees and whatever, we'll help get them the money for that. We give scholarships, $1,500 to help kids go to school. But Dominic, there are things that are challenges that seem insurmountable that you or I wouldn't think of. So we had children who say, I don't think I can go to college because I don't know how to get there. How am I going to get there? I never thought once that I wouldn't be able to get to Hartford, Connecticut, where I went to college. Like, never. So in that case, we got Uber to drive the young woman and her mom to the SUNY school, SUNY Delphi, I think it's called, where she was going. They waited so mom could go to parent orientation and then drove her back to the shelter. See, the thing is, if you're homeless and you're a mom, single mom, or a child, you've had a lot of people and institutions let you down, right? You don't end up at WIN because everything's gone well and everybody's had your back. That's not the case. So what might be a simple thought another child would have is, I'll just ask somebody to take me. I'll just get the money for a train ticket. Doesn't pop into our children's heads.
Why are you getting emotional?
Because it's amazingly sad to me that there are children out there with massive potential who think nobody has their back and think that they don't deserve to get that help. And asking for help is one of the hardest things out there. And our children asked for it, they got it. We knew they would need, and in asking, we also at Wynn tried to get them things they didn't ask for. So Microsoft gave us laptops. They gave us laptop bags. Tommy Hilfiger gave us watches for everybody, which is cute to keep them on time. We got alarm clocks. We had Home Goods donate sheets and towels and things like that. And the folks at TJ Maxx and Marshalls have said, you know, if they get up there and they need snow boots or whatever, let us know and we'll get them a gift card to get what they need. Because I really want those college kids to succeed, and I want them to know there are people out there who've never met them who are pulling for them. And we're soon going to start a letter writing campaign so our little ones can write letters to the college kids who were in shelter or are still in shelter. It'll help remind those kids that when they might be around rich kids in college, they're part of a community, and that community loves them, and it'll get the little ones to think, what's college? I could go to college. And it's great. We've gotten, you know, CUNY has now waived all the waiver fees for low-income people. We had already gotten them to waive fees for us. I'm very confident we'll be able to get the same thing from SUNY next year. So this is something we really want to build on, because I think, you know, I think it's remarkable when anybody gets into college nowadays. I could never have gotten into my college nowadays, never. It's crazy hard. But a homeless kid gets into college. I mean, we should throw a ticker tape parade, because it really just is amazing and should give all of us hope that we can get through the things that seem difficult.
You know, Dom, I'm jaded. This business does it to you. But good for her. You know what? Seriously, like, you can fake a lot of stuff. You can't fake that. I mean, you were there. You know it. Not as a passion project, but God knows. Talk about kids dealt a tough hand, not fair hand. They have to go through all that BS, and nobody has got your back, and finally somebody is looking out for you. I can only imagine, you know, putting things in context. When we think we got problems, imagine, you know, a kid, how would I actually get there, you know?
Richard, I agree with you. My job is to remain neutral in covering these types of stories, but it's hard to remain neutral in a situation like this. Christine Quinn, this is the Christine Quinn that I knew from many years ago that started out as an activist out there protesting to protect New Yorkers. To your point, think about this for a second. You don't know if you're going from shelter to shelter. You've made a tremendous accomplishment of graduating from high school, which is almost like a PhD from Harvard if you're homeless. And now, how do you get from point A to point B? How do you pay for it? In many cases, the dorm room for many of these kids is the first stability in terms of housing that they're gonna have in their entire lives. And yet, they're still going forward. And so the $1,500 from Wynn, bless those folks for trying to help these children.
And not only the money, but putting all the different people together to try and help pull it in the same direction for the kids. Well, I wish her a lot of luck, and certainly the kids as well. Great job, Dominic. Thank you. All right, when we come back, we'll pivot to a story we've been covering quite a bit on RFL here. A judge rejecting a plea deal of a former drama teacher in Chappaqua who's admitted to sexual contact with students. Court is back in session in just a few minutes, so more happening this evening, and Christopher Schroffnagel's sexual abuse case, we're all over.